Top 15 Most Powerful Power Rangers. Backstories explored. As the Power Rangers, young teens with spunk have waged the fight for good against the powers of darkness over the years. But if they had to battle one another, who would beat all the others and come out unscathed? Who is the most powerful Ranger of all time? The most formidable Ranger ought to be capable of giving as good as they got in a fight, while also thinking intelligently in combat. They also require the proper spirit and morals of a true Power Ranger.
Time Force Yellow!
Time Force Blue! Time Force Green!
Time Force Pink!
Quantum Ranger! Power Rangers! Time Force!
Over the years, most people have regarded the Red Rangers as the most powerful of all Rangers. Several of the faces on this list are about the same as the ones who usually top the generally accepted ranking of Red Rangers. However, many other Rangers have time and time again demonstrated far greater prowess than their commanders. With this collection of the 15 most powerful Power Rangers, let's find out who the very best of the best are. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Jason Lee Scott. Jason Lee Scott was a Red Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in Zeo. He was the very first Red Ranger of the officially named Modern Era, as well as the commander of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He subsequently returned in order to become the Zeo Ranger's second Gold Ranger, briefly acquiring those abilities from Trey of Triforia. Retroactively, he is also known as the Red Mighty Morphin Ranger or Mighty Morphin Red Ranger, as well as the Gold Zeo Ranger or Zeo Gold Ranger, albeit these are show references rather than actual names.
Golden staff to bring the jewels to life. Take care of the golden power. It is our hope that someday we will reclaim it.
He also took on the transient forms of the Green Ranger and the Yellow Ranger. In the splitting of the timelines following Shattered Grid, he becomes the Red Omega Ranger, the head of the Omega Rangers, after his withdrawal from the Mighty Morphin team. Jason was talented in martial arts and possessed the leadership qualities that made him a very ideal candidate to be a Red Ranger before ever even becoming a Ranger. Jason's most distinguishing character attribute as a Ranger is his passion for being a great leader. When something terrible happens, Jason would be the first team member to try to fix it. He would be the first Red Ranger guiding the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to several victories. During the time he was manipulated by Rita Repulsa, he had even been able to take down Tommy, one of the best Rangers of all time, in a confrontation. He served as the team's second in command in Power Rangers Zeo, displaying that he could not only lead, but also comply with orders when the circumstances demanded it. Fans frequently see him as the best Red Ranger and the finest Power Ranger of all time. And in a 2004 ABC Family poll, Jason was chosen the best Power Ranger of all time. Tommy Oliver. Dr. Thomas Oliver appears in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Zeo, and Dino Thunder. Tommy deserves a high rank on this list. After all, he has seen almost every color Ranger under the sun. As his brainwashed form defeats all of the Rangers, when he is in the Green Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we learn of his true powers that have been kept under wraps for so long. Tommy transforms into the White Ranger in the second season, with powers granted to him by the light of goodness. Forces of darkness were not able to take away his strength because of the origin of his power. He's more powerful than the other Rangers, and he can take down foes much more efficiently and with much better style than anyone.
Alright, let's start all over. White Tiger Zord! Tiger Mode! Battle ready now!
Tommy then joined the Power Rangers Zeo squad as the brand new Red Ranger. When he is unable to handle his Red Battle Zord, he embarks on a spiritual quest to discover a sense of peace, which leads to his development and makes him a more powerful Ranger. He even thought of the brilliant idea to trace down Jason, the previous Red Ranger, and recruit him as the Great Gold Ranger. Tommy subsequently became the Black Ranger after serving as a mentor figure to the new incarnation of Rangers in Power Rangers Dino Thunder. A few of the main reasons Tommy isn't at the #1 spot is that he has a history of mistakes during his Ranger career. For one thing, he starts out brainwashed and working for the villain. For another, after he was free of Rita's spell, his abilities as the Green Ranger had such a restricted supply of power for a while. And lastly, he spent a large portion of Dino Thunder demorphed and unseen. Despite these flaws, he remains among the most formidable Rangers among all time, and several admirers see him as the finest of all. Anubis, Doggie, Cruger. Power Rangers SPD features an appearance by Doggie Cruger. He is a Syrian who works as the head of Space Patrol Delta's Earth base before becoming the SPD. Shadow Ranger when General Beneg appears. He became the Supreme Commander of SPD after the departure of Fowler Birdie 2 years after the series ended. He met his wife Isanaya when they were both members of the very SPD on their home planet Sirius, and they fell in love and married. Doggie's affections for Insignia were challenged early on by his rival Ithior, but his wife could never love Ithior due to his lack of integrity. He was the one who chose the SPD. B Squad Rangers Bridge Carson as the Green Ranger, Jack Landors as the Red Ranger, Schuler Tate as the Blue Ranger, Sidney Drew as the Pink Ranger, and Z Delgado as the Yellow Ranger to replace the A Squad, which went missing in battle after he became commander of Space Patrol Delta.
At last, my revenge!
He was also the mentor of the A Squad Rangers and the one who directed and coached the B Squad during their lengthy fight with the Trubian armies in Grum. Cruger startled people even as a child, since he uses the Galaxy single sword style, which is regarded as one of the best in the realm. Because of this method, he was able to destroy 100 aneroids all by himself. He earned the moniker Hell's Guard Dog. Cruger demonstrates his Ranger spirit by being exceedingly noble and ready to go to any length to help others. As the Shadow Ranger, Cruger assists the Rangers using his trusty Shadow Saber. He can charge an adversary and slice him inside a containment card with his weapon. Needing no special equipment, all Cruger needs to do is arm himself with a sharp sword, and he's ready to go. Kimberly Ann Hart. Kimberly Ann Hart makes her appearance in the season Mighty Morphin. She is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers' first Pink Ninja Ranger and the first Pink Ranger in the modern era. Subsequently, she is also known as the Pink Mighty Morphin Ranger or Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger, albeit these are references to the show rather than actual names. She also assumed the temporary role of the Blue Ranger, Green Ranger, and the brand new Pink Ranger. Kimberly was one of Zordon's 5 original Power Rangers when Rita Repulsa invaded Earth after she escaped from the space dumpster. Billy Cranston, Jason Lee Scott, Trini Kwan, and Zach Taylor were her 4 colleagues, who also happened to be her closest friends. Kimberly became the Pink Mighty Morphin Power Ranger after receiving the Pterodactyl Dinozord and the Pterodactyl Power Coin. She was also a skilled gymnast who subsequently proved herself to have admirable musical and creative abilities as well. Kimberly was born in Angel Grove, California, although her parents separated when she was young. Because of her elegance and intelligence, she was selected to be the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger. Skull, a neighborhood bully, used to fancy her until she started dating Tommy Oliver, but we later see Skull revealing that he had romantic sentiments for Kimberly while she was afflicted by a spell that caused her to reject Tommy momentarily. Kimberly Ann Hart employed a combination of gymnastic techniques, strikes, hooks, and kicks. She often utilized her surroundings as a catapult for her strikes. Kimberly was frequently relied upon to end off enemies with evident vulnerabilities, such as the second mouth of the Terror Toad after the loss of her horn, and the Snizzard's golden apple on the top of its head. She is also extraordinarily graceful and quick-witted, and is a popular Ranger, as well as a global fan favorite.
Red Ranger!
Andros. Andros makes his first appearance in Power Rangers in Space. He is a Red Space Ranger and the Space Ranger's captain, as well as Astromina or Caron's brother. He is a telekinetic human from the space colony KO-35. When the Turbo Rangers fled the Earth when their command post was destroyed, Andros tracked them down and after a bit of persuasion, handed them the remaining 4 astromorphers. Andros is the very first Red Ranger to be equipped with a battleizer. Later on, he is also known as In Space Red Ranger or Space Red Ranger, both of which are variants on his labels in the show, although the latter is more of a reference to the program than a genuine label. Darkonda abducted Andros' sister Caron while he was a youngster. After this, Andros makes it his mission to locate his sister. Andros and his closest buddy Zane had joined the KO-35 army as teenagers with the aspirations of becoming Power Rangers one day.
Power punch!
Andros is introduced in what is perhaps the most spectacular Red Ranger debut ever. He interrupts a meeting with hundreds of enemies to hear about their nefarious schemes, then successfully escapes. He is also the root cause of the Power Rangers having their powers, since he is the one who gives the group astromorphs. Andros is a great warrior who can take on Astromina and even the Psycho Rangers. Andros is on a solo journey to find the Psycho Rangers during the incidents of Lost Galaxy. There, he rescues a Red Ranger named Leo from being killed by Psycho Red and joins forces with the other Rangers to defeat them all. Andros possesses telekinesis and a great understanding of space in addition to his Ranger powers, which are handy. But we're surprised that he doesn't employ his telekinetic skills in combat more regularly. Enemies all around the cosmos should be afraid of this angry young alien. Leanbow. Leanbow is the husband of Udana, Nick Russell, Bowen's biological father, Claire's uncle, and the tutor of Daggeron and Kalendor, who Optimus the Master transformed into the first Korag. He was famous for his honor and courage, which was resented by Kalendor. He joins the Power Rangers, named as the Wolf Warrior after being saved from the underworld by Udana. He makes an appearance in the season Mystic Force. Being a mystic wizard, he is able to morph into an ancient mystic mode, resembling a flaming red or purple warrior, brandishing a shield and sword. Leanbow commanded the Mystic Wizards in the great battle with the Supreme Master of the Underworld, Optimus, and his undead armies called the Morlocks, which were led by Mordecai in order to keep them from infiltrating the human realm 20 years before the series began. The troops of good magic finally pushed the Morlocks through into the gate of the Underworld, and Leanbow took on Mordecai personally at one point. Leanbow would have been sacrificed to the evil forces in one single act, and Nyla would exhaust the last of her abilities as that of the Gatekeeper, surrendering her life force during the process. He has a host of powers, including the manipulation of fire and formerly enhanced strength, speed, and armor. He is also strong enough to take power away from other beings, and has a few abilities from the Dark Source and Evil Force. Adversely, he can also grant powers at will. He is also known for his nobility and bravery, and is definitely one of the more memorable Power Rangers, and certainly not one to be underestimated. Orion. Orion is an extraterrestrial who is from a planet named Andresia, and who discovered the 6th Ranger keys after his world was destroyed by Armada. He appears in the season Super Megaforce. He officially became a Silver Ranger in the Mega Rangers after crash landing on Earth. On his native planet Andresia, Orion worked as a miner. He stayed in a village with his family. Once when he was mining, he discovered a hard crystal case containing a box and the Silver Ranger key. That's when Orion began to get images of the 6th Rangers. Even though he knew they were attempting to communicate something with him, he was hesitant to utilize the equipment. The Armada invaded a week later, dispersing the inhabitants of Andresia. Suddenly, an Armada ship strikes a settlement, which turns out to be Orion's village. Concerned for the safety of his family members, Orion flees to his village, only to discover everything devastated. Wanting vengeance, he transforms and becomes the Silver Ranger. Orion has the power to wield the Silver Spear as the Silver Ranger. The spear can convert from a trident to a rifle, also known as the Super Spear Blaster. The blaster's blasts are so strong that they have the ability to knock Orion backward. The primary reason why Orion is so high on the list is due to the fact that he can combine all of the 6th Ranger keys to unleash the full power of the Super Megaforce Gold. He has the ability to shift into several Rangers of yesteryear. When he gains Super Megaforce Gold, the Silver Spear transforms into a Gold Spear, allowing him to execute the legendary Final Strike move, which summons the 7 souls of previous 6th Rangers. All of them launch blasts of energy, causing the other 8 former Rangers to attack, followed by Orion's last double slash. This ultimate strike propels Orion to one of the top spots on the list. Wesley Collins. Power Rangers Time Force's central character is Wesley "Wes" Collins. He is the Time Force Rangers' second and present Time Force Red. as well as the Time Force Power Rangers' official second-in-command. Wes gains command of the Time Force Rangers when Alex returns his morpher, with the troops feeling he is a more decisive leader than Alex. Wes was the son of Mr. Collins, the fictitious town of Silver Hills' local industry overlord. Mr. Collins is most likely a widower or divorcee, considering Wes's mother is never seen or mentioned in the series. Mr. Collins intended for Wes to step up and take over the family company, but his behavior only worked on alienating Wes. Wes is a talented hand-to-hand fighter who can transform into the Red Time Force Ranger using his chronomorpher, enhancing his combat powers and innate talents. He holds a pair of chrono sabers that he can use as twin weapons or as dual-bladed spears, as well as the V1, a huge laser blaster, as the Red Time Force Ranger. Wes rides the Red Vector Cycle, a dystopian motorbike, as well as the Stratocycle, an airship that can travel at supersonic speeds and shoot strong laser blasts as vehicles. He can also summon his Battleizer, which is a battle warrior armor, in which he is significantly stronger and carries a fire-charged sword, and Time Flyer 1 was his Zord. Wes changed his bad and uncaring attitude when he changed the Red Time Force Rangers. He learned the significance of sacrificing for the greater good, and gained an incredible feeling of duty, to the point where he was prepared to die while battling a Cyclobot army. By the conclusion of the series, Wes had evolved into an ideal ranger, had a healthy relationship with Jen, and was finally a genuine friend to Eric Myers.
I am the Blue Ranger. I don't believe.
TJ Johnson. Tommy Oliver chose TJ, also known as Jarvis Johnson, to be his successor as the Turbo Ranger's second Red Turbo Ranger, and he eventually became the Space Ranger's Blue Space Ranger and the Red Space Ranger's second-in-command. He is a character in the Turbo and Space season. TJ had always aspired to become a Power Ranger, ever since he was a small boy, oblivious to the fact that his dreams might one day come true. He was initially spotted traveling with Cassie on a bus on his way to Angel Grove. Suddenly, he and Cassie saw an onslaught by the villainous Divatox, who had kidnapped Tommy Oliver, the current Red Turbo Ranger. TJ defeated the Pyranotrons and rescued Tommy from his confinement. Due to his unflinching fearlessness, he was chosen to be the Red Ranger. The courage he has is remarkable, and that has earned him his position of leadership. He'll sacrifice everything in order to protect others, which demonstrates his Ranger spirit even further. Even when the power chamber is destroyed by the Pyranotrons, until Alpha's completely safe and sound, the young TJ declines to leave him alone and stranded. TJ's primary weapon as the Red Ranger is the Turbo Lightning Sword, along with his shield. It can launch a highly devastating onslaught when it is fully powered up. TJ's determination is largely responsible for his inclusion on this list. However, TJ's last encounter in Turbo resulted in them losing 2 of the Megazords, which is often noted as one of the reasons he is not the finest Red Ranger. He did not remain as the Red Ranger and was relegated to the Blue Ranger in Power Rangers in Space and replaced by Andros. Even though TJ understood nothing whatsoever about space, he nevertheless was able to educate Andros a great deal about cooperation and teamwork while still serving as second-in-command.
Crystal Saber!
Taylor Earhardt. Taylor Earhardt is the Wild Force Power Rangers' Yellow Eagle Ranger. She was the team commander prior to Cole's arrival, earning her the title of the first Yellow Ranger to do that. Under Cole's guidance, she was promoted to second-in-command of the squad. She is one of the 6 central characters in Power Rangers Wild Force. Taylor first noticed the Animarium as a young girl while looking out the window of an aircraft. She had no idea that someday she would become its warriors. Taylor had always been fascinated by airplanes and aviation in general. This fascination prompted her to train as a military pilot for the armed forces, where she rose to the title of lieutenant. Taylor saw a spectacular sight whilst soaring with her squadron one day. The Yellow Eagle Wild Zod hovering in the skies near her. She chased the eagle all the way to the Animarium, at which point she landed harshly. She ultimately tracked down Princess Shayla, as well as the temple, where she was requested to be the Yellow Ranger. Taylor has a fierce feud with Duke Org Jindrax, with whom she frequently clashes, trading quips anytime they encounter. Jindrax, like Taylor, wields a sword in battle, and their bouts are frequently violent, with both delivering heavy hits. Taylor is immensely powerful, and his many special abilities, some of which include a high level of intelligence, combat proficiency, enhanced agility and senses, superhuman strength, the ability to communicate with animals, and mastery over many different weapons. Her military experience and background had made her a little frigid, uncaringly regimental, tomboyish, and unsympathetic, yet at times a rigorous leader. She takes charge of situations and concentrates on the work at hand. In combat, she frequently takes the initiative and fights the orcs first, and she is capable of facing the orcs by herself in battle anytime the others are unavailable.
Get back, Celltrax!
Trent Fernandez-Mercer. Trent Fernandez-Mercer attends Reefside High School and is the White Dino Ranger. He makes an appearance in the season Dino Thunder. Trent was the main villain in the 3 parts of White Thunder at first, and later a recurring key adversary until Masagog's spell upon him was undone. Trent Fernandez was conceived in the Fernandez household to unknown parents. His folks were archaeologists who knew Dr. Anton Mercer, a billionaire paleontologist and researcher. However, his parents were murdered in a cave while working on a dig, so Anton adopted Trent. He now believes Mercer to be his father, but has preserved his surname, though he sometimes goes by Trent Mercer. As per Mercer, he was designated as Trent's godfather. Trent was sent inside the villainous Mesogog's lair after discovering an invisi-portal inside his dad's office, where he came into touch with the White Dino Gem, and it changed him and made him the White Ranger. Trent began as a Ranger villain because of the darkness in the Dino Gem. He turned into their ally once the jewel was shattered. Trent possesses a variety of powers, including the ability to conceal himself, travel at incredible speeds, and enter Super Dino mode. Trent uses the White Drago sword that can unleash laser arrows that detonate. He also has authority over the Stegozord and the Dragozord, which can combine to produce the very first Dino Stegozord. The White Ranger is also the winner of the White Thunder ATV. Trent battles among the SPD Rangers against Imperior Grum and Zeltrax's troops, then beside the Mega Rangers against the Armada, taking down countless Bruisers and X-Borgs, demonstrating his powers as a Ranger even further. Trey's varied skills are all outstanding, which is why he earned this position on the list.
Well, you got it!
Ryan Mitchell. Ryan was rescued as a young boy by the Diabolical Spirit. His father struck a bargain with the demon that if he protected him, the young boy, Ryan would be nurtured by the evil entity. Being raised by a man whose name sounds far nastier than that of Rita Repulsa leads to Ryan becoming twisted and malevolent. He becomes the Titanium Ranger after attempting to thieve the Titanium Morpher in order to murder the Rangers. He would have beaten all of the Rangers if Miss Fairweather had not taken him out with the new V-Lancers. His memories return once his father informs him of his history. He then formally becomes a Power Ranger. Ryan departed after becoming a Ranger to collect more information about demons and ways to destroy them. However, he left the group with the custody of the Max Solar Zord, which they could use if they needed additional firepower. He ultimately returns to the crew and informs them of Queen Banshira's intentions to resurrect the demons. Ryan subsequently assisted the Lightspeed Rangers in finally destroying Banshira. He appears in the season Lightspeed Rescue. Ryan Ranger's abilities were initially limited because of a snake tattoo Diabolico had placed on his back, which would migrate higher any time he transformed, slowly creeping nearer and nearer to his throat, which would lead to his death. He was, however, able to slay the primordial cobra and break his curse. The Titanium Ranger possesses a titanium laser that is more powerful than the Rescue Bird and can convert into a battle axe. The weapon, like a battle axe, can receive and deflect energy bolts. Ryan may also employ the Max Solar Zord, which has 3 modes: a Megazord, a shuttlecraft, and a train. It was equipped with a shield and blaster weaponry that could shoot spurts of energy. Ryan's unique equipment and fighting abilities win him a position on the list. Adam Park. Adam Park was the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger's second Black Ranger of the modern era, and Zeo Ranger Ivy Green. and temporarily the very first Green Turbo Ranger in the Turbo Rangers and Tommy Oliver's second in command. He's also been dubbed Turbo Green Ranger, a play on his in-show name. He appeared in the Mighty Morphin Zeo, and Turbo seasons. Adam initially met Billy Cranston, Tommy Oliver, and Kimberly Hart when saving a newborn with his buddies Aisha Campbell and Rocky DeSantos. Adam became an instant target of Lord Zed due to his talent as a martial artist after defeating his projected future Dark Rangers and choosing them instead. Adam, Aisha, and their beloved Stone Canyon instructor Mr. Anderson were abducted and placed inside the Dimension of Despair. Fortunately, the Power Rangers come to their aid. When Zack went to serve as an envoy at the World Peace Conference in Switzerland, Adam was chosen to take his position as the Black Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Rocky and Aisha also take over for Jason and Trini, and the young Rangers would later relocate to Angel Grove and enroll in the high school there with the rest of the Rangers. Adam is a highly accomplished martial artist who had held a variety of Ranger abilities over the years. Each of these talents has improved his combat ability and natural abilities, and each has provided a few distinct qualities as well as various Zords and weaponry. The first came from the Black Mastodon's Ranger's Mastodon Power Coin, where he held a black blaster and the Power Axe, a sidearm that could transform into a short sword or a laser pistol. At the time, his Zord was the Lion Thunder Zord. Adam has captured the hearts of many all across the world with his charming personality and boyish good looks. His bravery, confidence, and powers make him a worthy addition to this list. Robert R.J. James. R.J. was born as the son of Pei-Zu Master Zen, but he never believed that his dad's shark style suited him. This caused some friction in his relationship with his overbearing father, and R.J. finally went out and found another teacher to educate him. Master Swoop mentored him at some stage in his preparation for becoming a master himself, teaching him his swoop technique, which required fighting blind. He was also buddies with Dominic and knew Jared, another student. In addition to being a master, he was also the founder of Jungle Karma Pizza. He makes his appearance in the Jungle Fury season. Robert R.J. James, the first Purple Ranger, is a laid-back instructor in Power Rangers Jungle Fury, and he fights utilizing a variety of martial arts methods, which includes Muay Thai. RJ also has the spirit of the wolf animal, and even after Daishi attempts to take it away from him, the wolf spirit and RJ remain inseparable, demonstrating the power of their connection. Furthermore, the only cause for his apprehension in the very first place was due to the fact that he was defending the other Rangers and demonstrating his commitment to his pupils. He can unleash the Violet Wolf Ranger Zord as well as the Wolf Pride Megazord. He provides assistance to the Rangers as the Wolf Ranger, but doesn't really take command of them. RJ is not only physically competent, but he can also employ complex technologies. He is able to use the morphing grid to construct weapons for his trainees in order for them to become Power Rangers. He's also a businessman, owning and operating the Jungle Karma Pizzeria. RJ is a pretty competent addition to the list due to his diverse expertise and combat styles, along with his mastery of various art forms and his ability to teach and guide a large number of pupils with knowledge and expertise. Jen Scotts. Jennifer Jen Scotts is a Pink Ranger in the Time Force and is one of the primary characters of Power Rangers Time Force, acting as the deuteragonist. She is the Time Force Rangers leader and Wesley Collins' romantic interest. She was on duty to take Rancic to the cryo prison, but she failed after being ambushed. She is eventually freed of her responsibilities, but she continues to try to prevent Rancic from stealing the cryo prison and traveling back in time. However, she fails and sees the alleged demise of her boyfriend, Alex. She subsequently captures a chronomorpher and a time ship to pursue Rancic, becoming the Pink Time Force Ranger and the Time Force Ranger's commander. She thereafter makes it her duty to return Rancic and his mutant captivity into the future at whatever cost. Jen Scotts, the second Pink Ranger on the list, is the commander of the majority of Power Rangers Time Force. Jen, who was born in the year 3000, has considerable knowledge of the future. She was a Time Force police officer who helped put an end to practically all crime. When Wes compels the crew to travel to their own time periods to defend them, Jen travels back in time to assist him in winning the show's climactic fight. She further demonstrates her talent in the Wild Force segment reinforcements from the future. Following all of her outstanding achievements throughout the Time Force season, she rescues the Wild Force Rangers and Silver Guardians and joins forces with them to battle the Mutt Orgs. Jen does commit some emotionally driven blunders, such as refusing to allow Wes to be a Red Ranger due to her bond with the former Red Ranger, who appears to have perished while battling. She does, however, come through and behave as an influential leader. Jen is a unique case of a pink Power Ranger commanding an entire squad, which compensates for her imperfections. Power Rangers has aired on television for over 30 years, with the series acquiring a large number of Rangers throughout that period. With a new squad of Rangers established practically every year after postseason 6, the overall number of Rangers is upwards of 100. Among them are some well-known characters, many of whom have remained fan favorites. Most of the time, these fan favorite Rangers are also some of the most powerful characters in the whole Mega franchise. But due to the vast diversity of the Rangers, or maybe the overwhelming number of them, it is often tough to rank just a few. But one thing is for sure, no matter who the most powerful Rangers are, each Ranger has an exceptional quality that is exclusive to them, and that is what makes choosing between them so much more difficult. And with that, we thank you for watching another Marvelous Videos. Until next time, be safe and have a good one. Goodbye.